Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Well, yesterday we took a big bite. We read verses 3 through 7. Today, just a short one, 8 through 10. So today, 8 through 10 in Psalm 91. That's our psalm for this week, and what a wonderful psalm this is. A deliverance song. And when I mentioned yesterday or Monday, we have the three separations. We have the psalmist, and he gives us this, declaration of faith. It's the keynote of the psalm there in verses 1 and 2. And then beginning in verse 3 through verse 13, we have him telling his readers why it's so important for them to trust in the Lord. And he gives us a whole litany of things that is going to be wonderful for the believer. And then in 14 through 16, we have the Lord speaking, heaven's promise. So the majority of the psalm is taken up with the psalmist encouraging the faith of the reader. And so he continues that right here in verse 8. So let me read verses 8, 9, and 10. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold, and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. When you read that verse 8, we have to take just a second and look back up at what he's already said. So he said, surely, so there's a surety here, the Lord will deliver from the snare, from the noisome pestilence. He's going to cover, in verse 4, his feathers. The truth will be shield and buckler to you. You will not be afraid of the terror, the arrow, the pestilence, the destruction. 1,000 will fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand. It will not come nigh you. Only, there's verse 8, only with your eyes will you behold and see the reward of the wicked. So the 1,000 that fall at your side, the 10,000, you're going to see that. Why? Because you're kept. You're under the wings. You're under the feathers. The Lord is with you. He's delivered you. So only with your eyes. So you're not going to experience it in your soul. You're not going to experience it in your body. Only with your eyes will you behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because, and here's the reason why. We come back to the reason again. So he's already given us the reason. The reason was there in verses 1 and 2. He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So we know that the He, whoever the He is, the general He, whoever you are, if you abide in the secret place of the Most High, then these things are true of you because, he says in verse 9, now he's going to double down on that, you've made the Lord, which is my refuge. Don't miss that. So the psalmist here comes back to the first person. You've made the Lord, who's my refuge. And he said that up there in verse 2. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge. Because you have made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, your habitation. So because you've done that, these things are true of you. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. And this is why this psalm is so precious and so loved by so many, is because of the promises that it makes. It's wonderful. Of course, Christians do suffer, and we see that in the world even today. We've seen it in the past. We see it presently now. But do they really suffer? That's the thing, because the Lord's with them. True suffering, ladies and gentlemen, would be a suffering that is vacant or void of the Lord's presence. But suffering with the Lord present, is that really suffering? Or is that just fellowship, a deeper fellowship with Him? Yeah, we're in pain, and yes, we're worried and we're harried by all the trouble that we find, but is that really suffering? No evil shall befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. He's not judging us. Perhaps he's chastening us, but we find his presence the balm in the midst of all of that. Well, join me again tomorrow, and we will look at verses 11, 12, and 13 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.